Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls. I'm your host, Patricia Baker. I'm here with my co-host from Tucson, Miss PK. How are ya?
Hot. Very, very hot.
Glad I bet.
That's right. Eggs would not fry. They'd sizzle.
Ah.
Left. It is not pleasant. That's all there is to it. But could be worse.
Yes, it could. It could be snowing like it.
Outside without the air conditioning.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, before we get started with numbers, I wanted to mention that everybody should go to our website, supernaturalgirls.com. We have a great little app there where you can put in your house number, put in your birth date, and figure out how you want to change the energy. And you can also use it to change the internal room energy all the way through your house. So that app is super easy to use. It costs $3. You can play with it for a month and do all kinds of house number magic. So definitely go there, check it out. If you have any questions, just send us an email. But it's pretty easy to use. Even I could do it. So it's easy.
You can do anything. In fact, you can do everything.
I wish. I wish. Oh, I have to say, though, I had a very strange experience right before the show. And I'm not broadcasting from where I usually am, down in the theater room, because I'm here by myself, which is not an issue. I love being by myself here. But I heard this enormous noise, like something extremely heavy just fell, crashed, whatever. And my little Phoenix went crazy barking. And we went all through the house, couldn't find anything. Not one thing that would explain this loud noise. Now, in the past, I will say I have had that happen, and I wake up out of a sound sleep because I've heard this crash, this loud noise. Mm-hmm. Usually, however, when that happens and it's a paranormal experience, Phoenix or any dog that's with me does not react. This time he did react. And usually when that happens and it's a paranormal experience, something happens within the next couple of days. And anyway, so we'll have to see what occurs after this. But we went through every room and there was nothing that had fallen over. And so anyways, I thought, I think I'm going to broadcast from upstairs tonight.
You should have to see what was going to happen next.
Yeah. I know. I had my phone ready to go to record if I needed to, but there was nothing. There was nothing there.
Run.
Boy, I was ready to run if I needed to. So
that's scary. That is very scary.
Because it was loud. I mean, really loud. And you've been here and you know how quiet it is here. We have no traffic noise. We have no neighbor noise. It's just extremely quiet all the time. So that was unusual. And I wanted to share. In case I disappear, there was a warning. You'll know.
Well, easy come, easy go.
Yes. You may see me waving from the spaceship up above.
We're in retrograde, my darling.
I know, really. But that's not a retrograde thing with a big loud noise like that.
Why not?
I don't know.
To do with communications.
Yeah.
And anything to do with anything you say, talk about, whatever.
Could have been a communication. And think of that.
You have to be careful of what they sign, what they do right now.
Yeah, all of that.
Anything to do with electronics stands to be a pivotal pain in there where you sit.
Yeah. Well, as you see, at least I'm not frozen. Remember last week I was getting frozen all the time. But let's hope it doesn't happen anymore. I think I got it fixed.
Hot stuff. You won't freeze.
Yeah, I shouldn't freeze. And also, you and I we have been blessed with going to the sessions to experience edits.
Yes.
Oh my God, everybody. PK and I each have our own set of health challenges. Yeah. And we've been participating in Ed's, what he calls the Zoom rooms, where he does photon energy. And he doesn't call it healing because he's not a healer. But I'll tell you what, we have experienced incredible healing experiences.
Definitely.
And what we wanted to tell everybody about, so we were talking about this earlier, is that it's really important. If you want to participate and get a great result, then what you need to do is you need to let it accumulate. Go more than once. Right. These sessions are only a half an hour long, so it's not a big chunk of time out of your day or evening. And they do them like 3-4 times a week. So in fact, they're doing one right now while we're on the air. And I know you're missing one, so am I. But it's so worth it, you guys. They charge $99 for a month of sessions like this. People are getting great responses, and we wanted to share with you that, yes, we are getting a great response. So it's worth doing. It really is. So EdEdwards.com, Ed with 2 Ds, EDD, Edwards.com. And his lovely partner, Laura, they are the ones who lead the show with this. So go do it. You won't be sorry.
The time you spend is so relaxing.
Oh.
When you get up, you feel like you've had a long nap.
Oh, God, it's great. It really is. And you know what? I'll tell you something else. You know, Phoenix, my little guy here, my little Shih Tzu, he's a liver shunt dog, which means his liver is compromised. Makes a lot of things very challenging for him health-wise. He is doing great because I bring him into the room with me. And so he's also getting the benefit. And I think animals just get more of it naturally because they don't fight it, you know? I mean, you and I were like, what is our bodies are going, what is this? You know, but dogs, cats, they just accept it. And he's doing so much better. Also, so your animals into the room with you.
Into this room with Ed, when he gives you different directions, it's incredible to find your body moving without you moving it.
Yes.
The first thing that makes you go, oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? And then it progresses and you relax. And when it's over with, you feel like a limp rag. But it's nice.
It's wonderful, everybody. And you will, I'm sure, experience a change in your health for the better. And we're thrilled and we're grateful to Ed and Laura. Thank you guys very much.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well worth it. So pass the word and go and experience it for yourself. So let's see. What else do we want to announce tonight? I think that's about it. Our app on Supernatural Girls and Ed Edwards. And we do know about Mercury retrograde, darn it.
What can I say?
I don't know.
Find anything. Be careful of what you do. Be cautious of what you say. Back up. Know that in a couple of weeks, you'll be able to do what you used to do. But anything to deal with electronics and communication is liable to get screwed up to the nth degree. So relax, let it pass, and then get back into what you need to do.
Okay.
No,
ready.
Too hard.
Do it. I want to buy a new computer. I don't dare until this is over.
Yeah. And I was going back and forth with the book I'm working on because I'm thinking, am I going to have to redo this after it's over with?
I know, really.
Yeah, I don't trust anything that's coming out dealing with my electronics.
I know it. It's like a challenge. It is. It really is.
My computer sticks its tongue out at me.
Yeah, that's how I feel. It does. It's terrible. So are we ready to talk about our great guest, this wonderful man who we love and is such an expert on Bigfoot? So let me just say a few words about Joel, who's also our wonderful producer. He is a veteran broadcaster since 1990 and paranormal investigator from the Iron Range area of Minnesota, Gilbert, Minnesota. He hosts a great show with 2 million in the audience, After Hours AM, a long-running paranormal talk radio podcast show. And he also features interviews with authors, investigators, psychics, mediums, researchers, and experiencers. He covers ghosts, UFOs, cryptids, conspiracy, true crime crossovers, EVP, and the unexplained. He also has celebrities on his show, too, because he's a big wheel. Everybody knows him. He knows everybody. And we're so lucky to have him here with us tonight in front of the camera because we are going to be talking with Joel about Bigfoot. So, Joel, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, it's so good to see you here. All right.
Okay, I got a question right off the top.
What?
How long does Mercury stay in retrograde?
Up to 25th.
So we'll be out of the woods here sooner rather than later?
Well, yes.
Because you're not wrong. Things do go a little wonky with electronics.
Already are going hokey pokey.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, too.
There is no norm right now.
Well, that's good that it's not that long of a period that we will be struggling. That way Patricia can get a new computer if she chooses to, too. If she chooses to.
I can learn to write what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, Joel, you have an event coming up. So let's first announce that for everybody. And it's a Bigfoot event. So tell everybody when, where, how do they get there?
Yeah, in fact, it'll be Saturday on the 11th. I will be in Reamer, Minnesota. Actually, the 10th and the 11th, but most people go to the 11th. I'll be in Reamer, Minnesota. And it's funny because this town is only like 300 people that live in this town. But they've called themselves, they've had so many Bigfoot sightings there. They call themselves the Bigfoot capital of the world, the home of Bigfoot.
No.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so they have this every year. They call it Bigfoot Days. And I'll be appearing there and hanging out and meeting everybody, doing all that fun stuff. But it's what's crazy about it is this town of 300 swells up to be about 3,000 to 4,000 people during that weekend. They all just kind of come on in and have a good Bigfoot weekend is what it is. Along with squatching, people get out in the woods. They learn a lot about Bigfoot. I'll be speaking here and there. I'll be, like I said, talk with everybody. I'll also have a booth. But you can also pre-order your book there. I got a little book coming out. So
yes, you do.
Yeah, American Cryptid Hunter. And you're going to want to come and talk to me on that and get your email in the hopper. That way, when it does hit, you'll be ready to go. You'll be the know and where to order it.
Exactly. And this actually tells people how to approach this, right? If they're going to go into the forest and want an encounter, they'll know what to do.
Right. Exactly. It's meant really when I wrote it, it was really meant for somebody that's never done it before. They can have a real guide in their hands. And I kind of spill everything I know that I've been doing it for so many years out on these pages. So when they go out, it covers everything from where to place your cameras, where the best times of year are to look for a Bigfoot. All those things get covered in that manual.
Wow. Wow. Well, you got to have that book, everybody. So make sure that you're on the list for pre-ordering so that you'll get a copy. But yes, it's very exciting, this book that you wrote, and will be coming out, but people will need to get their name on your list. So if they're going to go to the event, you will actually have a place where they can sign up and put their email.
Yes, exactly. But if you can't make it to the event, I do have an email. It's afterhoursam@gmail.com. You can email me there too and say, hey, I want this copy. I couldn't make it to Bigfoot Days, but I want to get a copy. Here's my information, and I'll make sure that you'll get that info when it drops. You'll be the first to know, and you can buy it.
That's great.
Perfect.
Good. That's wonderful. So, Joel, there's a lot of controversy, obviously, surrounding Bigfoot. And where do we want to start with this? What do you think Bigfoot is?
I'm more leaning towards, there's a lot of camps out there, and they're all valid until we have better evidence, until we have the smoking gun, as it were. Everybody's opinion is just as valuable as anyone else's. But my personal opinion is this, that Bigfoot is more than likely a flesh and blood creature. That's the way I learn. That's the way I lean. I think it's a relative of gigantic Pithecus, if I could talk tonight. Wow, stumbling over words. Words are hard.
Mouthful, that one is.
It is, right? It is. But I do believe that it is an offshoot. It is an ancestor of. Now, there are a lot of people that don't share that. Some people believe it's extraterrestrial. Some people believe it's multidimensional. Which everybody, you can do that, but my personal thoughts are, until proven otherwise, I'm going to go with the flesh and blood approach.
Could it be both? I mean, could it be a flesh and blood creature, but that also has interdimensional capabilities, and so that's why they can disappear? We can't see them anymore.
It could, but here's the thing, though. I've in my youth, I was an avid deer hunter, right?
Mhm.
And I don't do that anymore. I just A, don't have time, and B, I just don't have the heart to kill Bambi anymore. Like
Yeah.
I used to, right? The older you get, the softer you get, you
I
know.
know.
But
Mhm.
I've had deer 10 feet away from me in the woods and didn't even know they were there. So, you know, you have a creature that's adept at its environment that can hide like no other, that
Yeah.
might even be more intelligent than us. We don't know. It might be worlds more intelligent than we are.
Mhm.
Certainly is intelligent enough, or she is intelligent enough not to come around us.
Yeah.
You
They
know,
figured that out.
self-preservation. Yeah. So
They wait for
it could
much.
be both. It really could be both. It
Mm.
could be, but animals have a huge knack for stealth
Mhm.
because, you know, they're born in the wood. That's their living room, right?
That's
So,
true.
you know, they know the area better than I do.
Yeah. Yes. So why do we never find their bodies?
You know, that's a question I get asked all the time. Like, where's the body? Well, surely one had to get hit by a car. There has to be a body. Well, aside from the Minnesota Iceman, which is a whole nother story unto its own, we haven't had a body. You're right. But
Mhm.
how often, when you're in the forest, do you come across animal bodies like bears, moose? You just don't.
No,
You
good
just
point.
don't.
Yep.
You know, nature has a way of taking care of things very
Mhm.
efficiently and very quickly. So
Mhm.
that the whole body thing, I mean, I would love to see it if somebody did ethically get a Bigfoot, right? Got a body. And God forbid it's not through shooting a Bigfoot, because
Yes. Right.
I have my whole theories on that too. I don't believe we have a right to do that, number one.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if they were happen to find one that passed away recently from illness or injury, that'd be the way I'd hope we'd find a body, not one that we harvested.
Mm.
But until we have that body, we just
Go
don't
ahead.
know.
How
Well,
do we react to their body? Are they like ours, or like animal? What? How do we do?
Well, no, that's a great question, PK, because they're a little bit in between now, aren't they? I mean, they have animal characteristics. You're talking the long hair, the smell, but then they also have human characteristics.
Right.
Many people that see a Bigfoot explain how human their eyes are when they get looked at by a Bigfoot, how there's so much thought behind it, how they're rationing. So I kind of think it's the in between. It's that true missing link.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yes. Yes. And what about, do you think that they have tribes, communities, families? What's your thought on that?
I think they do.
Mhm.
Many times people observed smaller juvenile Bigfoot with parents.
Mhm.
There's a lot of different sightings of that. There's also, you know, and that would also maybe also lend some credibility to why we don't find them. Maybe they take care of their dad much like we do.
Oh, that could
Yes.
be.
You know, there, we don't know. There could be a whole hierarchy. There could be a whole society of them. But a lot of people have talked about seeing families of Bigfoot, where sometimes the juvenile Bigfoot will be a little gutsy and want to come out and look at the people, and the older ones are in the back going, "Get back over here! You don't mess with them. Leave them alone." So we've
Yeah.
heard stories about that, you know, where the juveniles are full of bravado, you
Mhm.
know, but the older ones kind of keep them in check. That's, you know, been talked about many times.
Yes. And what do they eat? What do you know about their diet? I've heard a lot of stories about that.
I theorize this: if you have black bears in the woods, or bears in general, a
Mhm.
Bigfoot could survive. It has ample food, has ample cover. If you have bears in your woods, you have
Mhm.
everything a large animal would need to survive. So, and Bigfoot are no different. But I also think there's symbiotic relationships between Bigfoot and animals.
Mhm.
I think Bigfoot uses animals to some extent, like wolves have followed Bigfoot.
Mhm.
Crows work with Bigfoot. I think there's a lot of symbiotic relationships in the forest too, that they help each other out.
Okay. That's interesting. And some people say that Bigfoot eats deer, that they've seen them carrying carcasses of deer.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's been
yes.
talked about for a lot. That in fact, years ago when I was an avid deer hunter, I found a deer that had its legs broken, I mean,
Oh,
terrible as that sounds, but it was like something grabbed it and broke its legs.
oh my God.
And yeah, I know it's terrible as that sounds, as violent as it is, but I do believe there's something to that, you know, they will take a deer. And I think I just happened upon it. I don't know if you want to say the right time or the wrong time, depending upon your view, because, you know, I don't want to get ripped apart by a Bigfoot either.
Oh. That would not be good. And we have heard stories of that there's the good Bigfoots that are nice, friendly, keep to themselves. And then there's something else. And it has been described as quite violent and dangerous. What do you think about that?
Well, you know, I would say of all the reports I've investigated, I would say well over 90% are peaceful interactions. The Bigfoot has taken no aggressive stance. It's more of a happening thing that happens. They see each other. Bigfoot goes his way and the people go their way, other way. But if you're referring to like the Beast of Boggy Creek, that is a completely, yes, very violent Bigfoot, terrorized the community and Falk down there in Falk for a long time. And even today, when I was down there, people would talk about the violent Bigfoot. It really did terrorize a lot of people. But I think that there is different types of Sasquatch, because the ones that I observed that all the evidence points to is the three-toed Bigfoot seem to be the more aggressive species of the hominid. So now down there in Arkansas, that one was the tracks that they did find were a Bigfoot. Land between the lakes, three-toed Bigfoot. So where their violence has happened, it seems that they're a three-toed Bigfoot. So, you know, it's so stay away from the three-toed ones and you'll be all right.
If you see those three toes, just run the other way.
That you know what? That's right. That's it. But that's really the only thing that all of the different violent encounters have had in common is the three toes.
Wow, I had no idea. Now, are they about the same size? Because I know they can go from 6 feet to 10 feet tall. And the three-toed ones, any particular size for them?
The three-toed ones, I've heard a couple different theories on it, on size. I've heard from 6 feet all the way to 8 feet. Generally speaking, they seem to be a little shorter than their cousins that have their full 5 toes. Than the ones like the northern Bigfoot seem to be larger than the southern Bigfoot, for instance. Okay. Why that is, I'm still looking into that. I don't know why. And they seem to be darker as well, where the northern Bigfoot are lighter in color, and that stands to reason because they're further away from their equator. So kind of like monkeys and apes, the northern apes and monkeys are lighter color than the other ones are near the equator.
Now, we've also heard there are white ones. There's white Bigfoot, and that they're special. They're kind of leaders of the tribe.
You know, I've heard that too, and I kind of chuckle and I say maybe it's the old Bigfoot. Yeah, how we get gray hair is, you know, when we get older, maybe that's the wise one, you know, the tribal leader.
Yeah, that would make sense, you know, that they have a tribal leader.
Do they see a lot of youngsters with them? We're talking about the large ones, but shall we say the children? Do you see a lot of those? Or are
you know, like I was saying earlier, there's a lot of reports of juvenile Bigfoot. You know, but almost always a juvenile is accompanied by a more mature Bigfoot, like a family structure. And a lot of time people see these when they're passing through, like it's they happen to see them. But there seem to be in their community, they seem to be very adept at taking care of their young, keeping them in check too, like I'd said, you know, so they don't stray into trouble. Yes, because there are stories of sometimes they get into trouble. They were I know there's one story, you probably heard it, where they were playing with children. The children just were playing very happily, but the child Bigfoot started to get aggressive, probably because that's how they play. And it became a bad situation very quickly. I remember that story. Yeah, because the kids just thought it was just another child, basically, a hairy kid. and then that kid needs a razor, let me tell you. But then it got aggressive. Yeah, because that's, you know, that's the way that their culture is. You know, that very well could be.
And I heard that it got aggressive and kept stalking them. So it became even more dangerous. So that's
it seemed to want to follow these children. I remember that tale, and it wouldn't leave them alone.
No.
You know, for quite some time it stalked them.
Yes. Well, we had something happen up here. And when we first bought this property, it was like you, we have a lot of acreage. I think you said you have 80 acres where you are. We have not as many. We have 75. But when we came here, it was solid forest. But there was an old trailer that the man who owned this previously had up on top of this hill. And my husband hired these two idiots to and
Harry Lloyd showed up for Dumb and Dumber.
That's it. They showed up. And so they were staying in this trailer, and they were supposed to start clearing around the trailer. And they were there one night. They didn't stay there very long. I think it was like the first or second night that they were there, and something was pounding on the outside of the trailer. And when they looked at the window, they saw glowing red eyes staring back at them. So they left, and they called, and they said, "We are never coming back." And I was kind of glad, because they were kind of like Dumb and Dumber, and I didn't really feel comfortable, you know, with them cutting anything on the property.
Right. Maybe the Bigfoot felt the same way you did.
They ran them off.
Yeah. You know, because I mean, there's stories of Bigfoot that have protected people. There's been stories of Bigfoot, you know, just want to interact with people, being curious of what they are, like you said, like with the children. And then I've also gotten reports, I mean, of Bigfoot fighting Dogman. I mean, I've read it all. It's all coming to my...
That's interesting. Fighting Dogman.
Yeah. I've got a couple reports, and this happened. One of them happened in the Northeast. I think that's where you're at, Patricia, not too far. I do believe it's in Pennsylvania. I'd have to look at my notes, but a hunter he was hunting, and you guys have a lot of deer hunting in Pennsylvania. Great deer hunting, by the way.
Yep.
And he heard a ruckus in the woods, and he didn't know what it was. And he was walking to his area where he's hunting blind. And he heard just a tremendous screaming and thumping, and just didn't know what it was. And to the guy's credit, he kept walking towards the screaming and thumping. Most of us would be going the other way, going, "Yeah, we're done."
Yeah.
Right. But he came up on a Bigfoot was actively fighting a Dogman, of all things. And he describes the fight went on for about 5 minutes, and they didn't even notice he was there. And he was just kind of a bystander. And it was an interesting story because, of course, the Bigfoot dominated the Dogman. The Dogman kind of, you know, lost because it's a much smaller creature. But it was quite a violent fight. And more than one person has come to me with these kind of tales of, you know, these territorial battles between these creatures. And, and the more I look into it, the more, you know, I mean, the people just don't have a reason to lie, number one. Why would you email me and say, "Hey, I saw this"? You know, you got no reason, you know, so I tend to believe a lot of folks. And I've even had a couple police officers that got a hold of me saying, "Hey, we saw this and it was weird," you know, and so, there is a territory thing going on.
That's really interesting, because I've heard, we've heard mixed reviews about Dogman. We've heard from some people who said Dogman would never hurt anybody, and there's no reports of that. And then we've heard the opposite, that people felt, well, and who knows, you know, people get scared. I would be scared.
I mean, hey, if I saw a Dogman in the woods, I'd be frightened the bejesus out of me. I don't think I'd want anything to do with it, to be honest.
Feet don't fail me now.
Right. You know, I only have to be faster than the next guy standing next to me. That's it. That's all I have to do. So watch out and hit your knee first. But anyhow,
is there a specific location, Joel, where
what's that, ma'am?
Seen? Is it on the uh, is it the northeast predominantly or the lower east coast? I can't think of anything really like I'm in Arizona. Anything in this area of that type?
A Bigfoot has actually been seen in all 48 lower 48 states, all, and then of course Alaska has a lot of reports. But the only one that I'm unaware of is Hawaii has never reported a Bigfoot. I suppose for obvious reasons, but every state in the union has had Bigfoot sightings.
Yeah,
I wondered about that because predominantly when we talk about them, usually it seems to be the northeast and or
Oregon, Washington State.
Yeah. No, that you're not wrong. But I did get a report from Flagstaff, that area, up in the mountains. Yeah, where they had sightings of Bigfoot.
So, see, you have inhabitants there too.
Yeah.
We're in the Berkshires, and supposedly the Berkshires is a very big spot for Bigfoot.
I've heard that. Well, it has everything you need though to survive.
We've got lakes everywhere. We've got the hills, and we've got heavily forested areas.
Right. I mean, you'd have everything. I mean, if you have bears where you are, you could possibly have Bigfoot.
Yeah, we have bears.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of bears. Yeah. Mountain lion, everything. Moose. We've got it all.
We've got a few of those things, but nothing like the Bigfoot that I've been privy to. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, running into a moose or a mountain lion, I'd be more afraid to run into them than a Bigfoot, to be honest, because they're nasty critters.
Yes, they can be. And well, especially with the mountain lion, they're so, like you talk about stealth. I think they're the masters of stealth. So you don't even know.
True. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Joel, what got you interested in checking out Bigfoot? What brought you to this?
Because I saw one. And, when I was a kid and I was hunting, and where I saw mine was not far from where the Minnesota Iceman was allegedly shot.
All right.
And I saw it plain as day. And I looked at it, looked at me, and it was big. I was probably 22, 23. So I wasn't that young of a kid. I was still a kid though, in my opinion, being 52, you look at it like, oh, I was just a kid back then, but I was a kid. And I was sitting in my campsite, and it was hunting season, and I was camping, and I remember I was cleaning my rifle next to my campfire, and I smelled just a horrendous smell. And I thought, because where I was by a resort, I thought for sure somebody had maybe cleaned some fish and left it out and it was rotting, just smelling terrible. So I was trying to rationalize whatever this could possibly be, like, it must be garbage, or it must be this, or it must be that. It was just a terrible smell. And it lingered for quite some time. And I remember I was sitting there because, like I said, I was by my fire, cleaning my gun, minding my own business. And I look up, and there's a Bigfoot.
Oh, wow.
And it's looking at me, and I'm looking at it, and it's maybe 15 feet away.
That's so cool.
I see the fire in its eyes, like the glint of my fire is actually showing up in its eyes like a reflection. That's how close it was.
Oh my God.
And so, first there's a couple things that went through my head looking back. Number one, I was scared. Everybody says, well, if I saw a Bigfoot, no. When you see a Bigfoot, you're scared because you have this giant creature in front of you that could, that far, one stride, it'd be on top of me. So the gun is useless. Yeah. There's no way you're going to get that rifle up and be able to defend yourself. It'd be over. Mm-hmm. But I also know that they're intelligent enough to stay away from people with guns, generally speaking. So, I mean, they're pretty, usually if you go out in the woods armed with a gun, you don't see a lot of Bigfoot. You don't, they tend to leave you alone because I think that they've learned over the years, obviously, that guns equal bad things are going to happen, right? So they're leaving that all alone. So getting back to my tale, I looked up, and it looked at me, and two things went through my head. Oh my God, this can't be a Bigfoot, but it was. Number two, my obituary was going to be really weird. That's my thinking. Got ripped limb to limb by a Bigfoot. I mean, how's that going to read? When they find me, what are they going to say about this?
So funny. Oh my God.
but it looked at me and I looked at it, and it was kind of mutual understanding of who's in charge, and I was not in charge. He was in charge.
Right.
And there was no two words about it. He was the guy that was large and in charge. And if he wanted to, he could have killed me. Absolutely. I had no idea it was there. He was so silent coming up. I didn't hear it. But when he left, it sounded like a truck going through the woods.
Wow.
So he was showing me a couple things, in my opinion. One, how stealthy he can be. And two, that show of force when he left. Hey, you're not going to want to mess with me.
Right.
But you know, it wasn't violent. It was a chance encounter. I think he wanted to check out who I was, because normally there's not campers that time of year in that area, and I piqued his interest, and he also wanted to let me know whose woods these truly are.
Yeah.
And you believed him?
I did, and I never went back in the woods. It took me many years to go back in the woods. It took me a little while, about 5-6 years, before I felt like I want to go back in the deep woods again. It took a little while.
You know, we had a young woman on our show. Remember this lady? She and her boyfriend were out at a camp spot where they knew Bigfoot was. And she had been there before, felt like she had kind of set up a communication with them at times. And they had, remember the trail cam photo? I've got to get this photo to you, Joe. Should have brought it for the show. Anyways, the trail cam took a picture of both of them, her and her boyfriend, in the sleeping bag on the ground. And this enormous Bigfoot, I mean, shoulders out to here.
Yeah.
Oh my God, leaning over them as they slept.
No way. No. Oh, man.
Oh, my God. And we were like, how did you not know this thing was like breathing right over the top of you? Right? How could you not like wake up and start screaming? They had no idea. And then we saw the picture. We'll get it to you and we'll show everybody next
Show
week.
it to me. I mean, thank God they didn't wake up right in the middle of that encounter, though, because what might have happened?
Yeah, I know, right. But he was talk about stealth, you know, their ability to be so stealthy that you don't know that they're even there.
Yeah.
And also,
yeah.
friend, by the way, was an expedition leader in foreign countries, Tibet and all these other places where you have to sleep with one eye open to keep your group safe. No, he was like slept right through it.
Oh boy, yeah, it speaks to how stealthy they can be.
Yeah,
and also story after story about that.
Do they have influence, you know, over people? Because we've also heard about how somebody will be walking towards a Bigfoot, and the next thing they know, they're walking in a totally different direction, right? And they don't know why. They hear some strange sound, and the next thing they know, they're down another path, and that happens quite frequently. So they have an ability there.
You're talking about infrasound is what you're talking about. So now infrasound has been widely, I mean, lions use it, other animals use infrasound to stun their prey. It's thought Bigfoot does the same thing, because myself, I've been hit with this infrasound. I've had anxiety, I've had fear, I've had like, oh, what's going on here? Why do I feel this way?
So it's like a whole anxiety takes over you?
Yes, like you want to flee. If it preys on your fight or flight and it goes towards the flight, like get out of here. And a lot of people, a lot of fellow researchers have actually felt the same way. We've talked about many times, like, man, it's just such a weird feeling. You'll just be walking, and next thing you know, you just feel so anxious, you know, like you can't be there anymore, that you got to get out of there. And I do think that Bigfoot does utilize infrasound to repel people. I think mainly they use as a repellent, because if it wanted to stun us and then take us as prey, he would be doing that, or she would be doing that. Clearly, they don't want to do that. Yeah, nothing would be stopping them. But I think they use that, like you'd said, as a diversion tactic to get people away from where they are.
Yes, and their bodies are so big. Their bones are big. Their bodies are huge. There's such a capacity for sound resonance on every level. I mean, according to the Cherokee medicine woman I studied with, she said they can sing more than one note at a time.
Yeah, I've heard that too. And then they do that samurai chatter too, and they talk back and forth. They whistle. They have a lot of communication that's amazing to me. Because I've heard that in the woods, the samurai chatter, where there's two of them talking back and forth. You're right, and then I've heard what you're talking about, where it's almost like two voices are being used at the same time by one entity, and that is so weird when you hear it.
Yes, it is. It is. And this woman who I used to study with, she claimed to know where their actual camp was. And I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again because it's kind of funny. So she would go to meet with them at their camp once a year. And she never said where it was. But some of her students wanted to go. So she would take some of her students with her. And they would get to a certain point, and then the Bigfoot would start walking towards them, and her students would all pass out. There is something about those big shapes coming toward you. You just can't control it. It's just this deeply ancient, unconscious response. I'm out. And she brought them out there a couple of times, and then she said, "Oh, forget you people. You gotta stay conscious. I'm not taking you here anymore." And she's like, "Oh, forget it." But that's what happened.
I got a couple questions of Patricia. Did she not own a camera?
She said, "I bring my camera every time, but they don't want their pictures taken." And so she would bring it and say, "Can I take your picture?" And they'd say no. And she would respect that and say, "Okay." But she did try, and she did talk about that and say,
"Yeah, I get a lot of reports, not that wild. I haven't gotten too many that wild, but that's cool." But I always tell everybody when we talk, and they kind of press me on it, and I press them, and I say, well, at the end of the day, extraordinary claims still need extraordinary evidence.
They do.
So, we have to uncover that extraordinary evidence.
Yes.
And because as much as I'm a believer, those that haven't experienced it or haven't seen it, they might not be. So we got to bring that credible evidence forward.
Absolutely. Yes.
And not only do we owe it to ourselves, but we owe it to Bigfoot in a lot of ways. And now go ahead, ma'am.
No, there have been more sightings than ever before reported. Now, is that because people feel more comfortable talking about it, or is it because Bigfoot's actually coming out and showing him or herself more than before? What's going on? There's so many reports.
I think there's a couple things going on. I think number one, I remember when I was a kid in geography class, and the teacher would say, "Did you know that when Columbus came to the shores, the Native Americans looked out and they didn't see Columbus's ships, even though they were right there, because they had no point of reference in their world of what a ship was?"
Okay.
How often are we seeing a Bigfoot and we don't have a point of reference for what a Bigfoot is?
What a great point. Yes.
So how do we know that? That we're not looking right at it, but we don't have that point of reference in our worldview.
Isn't that an interesting analogy? I love it.
Wow.
So I think that does happen. But I also think that Bigfoot being more mainstream now than he ever was, right? You have Jack Links peddling their jerky. You have Harry and the Hendersons, and you have all these other things. It's kind of gearing us more towards normalizing Bigfoot. And when somebody does see a Bigfoot, they have a source. They have a reference now of what a Bigfoot is, where before we didn't. And not to say there isn't different Bigfoot, though. Maybe that's the only reference point we have is for the 8-foot tall hairy one, but we don't have a reference point for the ugly one or the other one. In our minds.
Yes, exactly. I'm gonna mute my mic because there's some noise coming in.
Red PK.
How did you do that?
How did she mute her mic?
No, I find it very fascinating when we talk about Bigfoot. A lot of people, tongue in cheek, they go, "Yeah, right, But there's more and more evidence to show that it does exist. It has existed, and God knows how long it's existed.
Well, the Native Americans go back thousands of years describing trading with hairy men, large hairy men. I mean, for thousands of years, the Native Americans have lived in harmony with Bigfoot. In fact, they talk about trading with Bigfoot, living nearby Bigfoot, where it was just an accepted thing that there was the man of the woods, the creature of the woods. So, and in fact, what I find fascinating is you can have multiple Native Americans and different civilizations that have never talked to each other one time,
Right.
but you see they're drawing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
How is that possible?
That's what's scary.
So they were right. So, and they never met each other. It's not like they had a meeting going, I think that we're going to draw this on our walls. It didn't happen. They didn't even know about each other, but yet there it is. But though, to that point, the UFOs too. I mean, the UFOs have been written on these same walls, so
Bigfoot originated from?
I want to say it's like I said earlier. I think it is a cousin of the gigantic Pithecus. Hey, look at that. I did it without stumbling this time. But that's what I think it is personally. Now, that point is just as valid as anyone else's, though. If somebody wants to tell me that they believe it's a Martian, I'm not going to argue with them because I don't know, because we don't know yet. And plus,
Being hairy.
Right. I don't want to alienate anyone either, because if they're looking and they feel alienated, they're going to stop looking, or they're going to say, boy, that Joel was such a jerk. What the heck? No, man, we're all in the same boat together. You know what I mean? So if your hypothesis holds water at the end of the day, you're welcome to it. I mean, if that's true to you, you're welcome to it.
So over a period of time, how many sightings do you feel have taken place?
Oh, thousands. Oh boy. Mm-hmm. Every year there's thousands of sightings.
Right.
All walks of life too, though. Dentists, lawyers, doctors, law enforcement. It's not just like, it doesn't matter about social, economic, or your place in life. Everybody's seen Bigfoot.
I'm sorry,
go ahead.
No, go. I was going to say that the strange part is the fact that it's so diversified to those that see it.
Yeah.
Which makes it even more confusing, because in many cases it's not norm.
Yeah. I mean, nobody ever goes in the woods saying to themselves, most people, unless you're like me and you actually go out for Bigfoot in the woods, but most people don't go out in the forest and saying, well, I'm going to go see a Bigfoot today. Mm-hmm. So usually when people come across the Bigfoot, it is just as shocking as my encounter was. And so I have a real empathy for that. So when they do come to me and they go, hey, I don't want you to think I'm crazy. Well, number one, you're not crazy, because I saw one too. So that means we're both crazy. Mm-hmm. And when they ask that their story not be shared, I don't share it out of respect, because you know what? That's their story. And if they want to share that story, they can do that. Mm-hmm. I won't do that for them. I'll let them take that story.
Well, now there has been some DNA reported. I mean, I was listening to Paulides again talking about this, and they said that they found that there was DNA of a human female side, but the male side was not able to be identified.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yes.
That could be a game changer, though, because now we're starting to get closer to getting DNA.
This was by a bona fide geneticist who knew what she was doing and was able to stick her neck out and do this analysis. And that's what she came up with. I'm probably not giving the right terminology.
No, but I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
And yeah, the female side was identifiable, but the male side was not.
Yeah. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah. I think he has a movie out now about Bigfoot. And he's certainly in the interview circuit. I saw him on a couple of podcasts talking about this. So, but now there's also differentiation between Bigfoot and something they call the wild man, right?
Yeah, you're right.
With that group sounds scary to me. It's much scarier than Bigfoot.
Yeah, well, the theory kind of, from my understanding, is the wild man is more of the human variety.
Yes.
that these are people that are living, wild, hairy in the woods, that some have said that they might be intermingling of Bigfoot and people, though. That there could be some genetic stuff going on.
Right.
And that could be the case. That could be. I'm still hearing more and more reports about seeing human-like people, like you'd said, that just have to be very hairy, but acting just absolutely wild, like crazy, just run around the woods,
and
right?
Dangerous.
Very aggressive, very aggressive. A lot of people said they're very aggressive. I hear a lot of reports the last couple of years about that, and I haven't really seen anything terribly credible yet. They don't seem to leave a lot of evidence behind when there is a sighting. But how would you? Because their footprint is just like our footprint.
Yeah.
These wild people. So right. So how would you cast that footprint and say, that's a Bigfoot, or this is a wild person? Because it's the same as ours.
Yeah. Well, but here's what I heard just recently about the way Bigfoot walks. That Bigfoot actually walks one foot right in front of another. Have you heard that?
I have heard that, but if you look at the Patterson-Gimlin film, it's not doing
it doesn't look like that. No,
it doesn't look like that at all.
Have you ever tried to do that?
I have, and I've when I first heard about this, and it's been reported a few different times that they're walking with one foot like parallel for the other. If I can get the up camera like that,
just like
how
that.
how would you maintain balance?
Yes.
And how would you do terrain? Be able to navigate terrain
and travel at the speeds that they travel at.
Right. Yeah. So that one, I'm a little skeptical on that, until better evidence comes out to prove, because none of the tracks show that either. Because if when you see Bigfoot, you don't see tracks like this where it's wide, it's spread apart, usually long strides. You don't generally see that. I haven't seen any evidence to support that yet.
Now, there's a lot of talk, Joel, and I know you've heard it all, about the government having Bigfoot bodies and live Bigfoot.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I've heard a lot of stories, some great stories from hunters saying, hey, I shot a Bigfoot. I turned into the game warden. Next thing you know, the government's coming in with a helicopter, scooping it up and flying it away. I've heard that more than once. I think the government knows, but I don't think they really care. But I think, and let me elaborate on that.
Yeah, please.
I don't think they care, because if they had to care, it would change the timber industry. It would change the forest industry. You would have to take this creature now and give it habitat. It'd become a protected species. I mean, monetarily, there's a lot to lose of the Bigfoot being discovered. Because now you have the timber industry, like I said, has to change. And you have to give it land. You have to do all these different things you do with any endangered species.
Right.
So why would they want to do that if they don't have to?
Yes. So their hand is not forced to do that.
Well, the last thing Bigfoot needs is the government finding out about him, because look how efficient the government is. They deal with everything else.
Our government?
Yeah.
Yes. No, it's true. You're right. And here, even to give you another example of exactly what you were just talking about, we have mountain lion here in the Berkshires. However, the government says, no, we don't. Now, farmers have lost livestock to mountain lion here. We've had pictures taken. We've had witnesses. My neighbor's driving up the road. She sees a mountain lion in the middle of the road and leaps 30 feet into the air to land at the top of a cliff. I mean, we've all seen them. One was in my front yard. But yet the government's acting like it's not there.
Well, the same thing happened where I am too, because every time someone see a mountain lion, say, "Oh, it came in from the Dakotas. They got huge range. It came in from somewhere else." Until somebody on their trail cam caught a mother and its cubs.
Oh,
and then they had to. Oh, okay, they are breeding here, and they are here. So the lid was off the proverbial Pringles can, And they had to say, okay, all right. We've had mountain lion here for a long time. You guys aren't going nuts.
No, that's right.
You guys have mountain lion. I'm telling you. I've been out towards your neck of the woods. You guys have mountain lion.
Oh, we do.
So much.
What's that, ma'am?
Why do they deny so much? What is that?
Like money. You know what I mean? A lot of it comes that you just follow the money. You know?
And they don't want to protect them here. They don't want to have to do exactly what you were just talking about, providing habitats, making sure they're safe. You can't hunt them. It's got to be a whole big thing.
Right,
and so
right.
They don't bother. They don't want to do it. And so they pretend.
Well,
and then they try to gaslight us into thinking we didn't really see it.
But on the other hand, I was also told that Bigfoot was created at Plum Island. So I don't know. You can believe whatever you want to believe.
Oh, wow.
The CIA or somebody created Bigfoot in Plum Island and it got away. And, you know, the normal take the story from there. Yeah.
Well, that's where they also created Lyme disease, isn't it?
Yes. It is Plum Island now. That's a whole nother show.
Oh my gosh. Do a show on that place. Sure. Yes.
Oh boy. That I did a lot of research on Plum Island. And it is DARPA does not want us to talk about Plum Island.
No,
let me tell you.
There's a book about it. What is it called? Lab 498 or something like that. It's a great book written a long time ago about it and how the ticks got off the island and started this whole
place. And that's where the Lone Star tick came from. The one now, if you get bit, you can't eat meat.
Yeah, you get that, whatever it is, alpha-gal virus.
Right. Well, you know, it almost makes you wonder, is a controlled release so they could experiment on us to see what it does to the population? I mean, you know,
experiment on us. We're just lab rats to them.
Right. I mean, look, hey, they dusted San Francisco with LSD, didn't they? I mean,
yes, they did.
You know, so anything's possible.
Oh yeah. It's very scary, that part. Talk about Bigfoot. It sounds like a teddy bear compared to what our own government's doing.
Oh, good Lord. You are complete. Now, in the book, I cover all cryptids, though. I go into Mothman. I go into, you name it. We cover it all. We take deep dives into all of them. So, and I've looked for them all at one time or another.
Your book is something everybody should get because you do go from one end to the other with all of the cryptid lore and sightings, actual experiences. I mean, it's a great book that everybody should get, and it will be available fairly soon. But definitely get your name on Joel's list. Make sure you
Yes, Saturday. Come on by. Give me your name.
Yes, give me your name, Joel, and make sure you listen to his great show. Be one of the 2 million in the audience. And,
I appreciate it. I do. You guys are great. You know, every week I get to produce this awesome show, and every week I get to hear something really cool. So
every time you're the one that's cool.
it is really cool, and I want to thank both you guys for everything you've done for me.
Thank you.
I want to be full disclosure, folks. Without Patricia, this book wouldn't really exist. You know, she's the driving force. So I just want to thank you publicly.
With your book. That's my job. So, and your books are wonderful. I mean, I can't wait, PK, for your book to come out.
Yeah.
I mean, PK made such a splash. She made us go viral on TikTok about house numbers. By the way, everybody, don't forget, go to our website, put in your house number, change all the energy, make it be what you want. That's all thanks to PK. And you, Joel, you're an amazing writer. You're just someone to be admired for your journalism skills.
Thank you.
You never know what the new thing is that's going to get our attention because nothing's new under the sun that we haven't found yet.
That's right.
True.
But we love the topic. But anyways, Joel, thank you so much for being such a great.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I suppose. Thank you again. And we'll get out of here then, right? As a producer, I suppose I'll have to say, hey, 1 minute left.
All right. Well, we will be back next week with another great show. And until then, go visit the House Number app and find out all about your house number inside and out. And
that's it, guys.
Take care of each other. Right? Okay. Good night, everyone.